his barrel roll and they fix the grass on the back straightaway. So NASCAR doesn't take any of the safety stuff lightly, and I think they don't get enough credit for the amount of research and time and effort and the staff that they have to keep these drivers as safe as possible, because no matter what, these cars have been turning over and crashing and having all these problems for a number of years, and that's going to continue.
There's really no facet in any of this sport that has more, time and money spent in safety. Right, so due credit is all there is. Just like you said, Kevin, these cars are extremely safe. Mind you, that thing toppled over at 180 mile an hour. That's a lot to ask out of anything.
Now, with the change to Atlanta being a drafting track, they had to change how you get on pit road. So from turn 3 around to the yellow line that starts pit road, there is a 90 mile an hour speed limit, which drops to 45 yellow line to yellow line along pit road.
Yeah, and it creates a lot of problems, because when you pit under green, we saw crashes last year coming to pit road under green, guys going too fast, didn't get their cars slowed down, guys trying to get to yellow flag pit road speed or just plain out running into each other. So in and out of these pit stalls, the pit stalls are narrow. You want to get all that you can down pit road with this type of race. A lot of cars stay on the lead lap. You got a lot of guys on 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires, pit and fuel only. So when you have those mixed up strategies on pit road, it creates a problem coming in and out of the pit boxes.
Now, it's winter here in Georgia, as it is in most of the country, but Mother Nature has been kind to us. The highs have been in the 50s all week, and that high temperature usually occurs about an hour from now, about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So got a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest, a lot of high clouds. And here's your race analysis. We'll go 260 laps to complete 400 miles. Look at the stage lengths. They are all over the place. 60 laps, then 100 laps, then 100 laps.
Yeah, and I think this first stage, these guys don't want to pit under green here. Typically, you'd see different strategies, but with the length of time that it takes to get around that corner on pit road, you'll go a couple laps down. So they do not want to take any chances, so they want to run it into that fuel window this week and get all they can and not have to come to pit road.
Yeah, you hit that, to your point, you hit pit road, you better hope nothing happens on that racetrack. 2 laps down is hard to overcome.
We will have 8 different onboard views for you today. A variety of cars sprinkled throughout the field. We'll highlight them once we get to green, which is about to happen. Pace car driver is going to put his right foot hard on the go pedal of that Ford Dark Horse Mustang that leads the field. It heads for the road. And here we come for the start of just 400 miles high speed in Atlanta.
Boys. Wow.
So this race is going to be a little bit different than what we saw last week at Daytona. You're going to see the cars stay together, but any bump that you can do down the straightaway really helps the momentum here. But as we get into these corners, these guys are filling their car out for the first time. The only thing that they did this weekend was 1, maybe 2 qualifying laps if you were in the top 10. So this is going to be a little bit of fill your car out, understand what you're dealing with, get comfortable in the seat, because the way that these corners and how sharp they are, it's very hard to be smooth with the car where we have bumps and all different kinds of things. So very, very difficult for the driver to get comfortable inside the car right off the bat.
Well, Ryan Blaney was an odds-on choice to lead the first lap because he's the only driver who has led all 6 races in this new configured Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now he's led all 7.
Well, we talked about him a lot in the pre-race, Kevin, but there's one guy that we didn't mention a lot, and preparing for this race this weekend, you talked about him a lot.
Well, when you look at Austin Cindric, he's up in the front of these races all the time. He has a really good system of teammates that allows him to understand the drafting process. The Fords in general, they have a bigger box to work in than the other 2 manufacturers, in my opinion, with the speed that they can put into their car and the handling. But Austin has become a student of the drafting style racetracks, and I feel like his blocks and things that he does are very timely, and I feel like today might be his day.
I tell you who I like, that 21, Pride of the Wood Brothers, Josh Berry doing a great job. It's got to feel good to be up front.
Yeah, and I saw him try to peek to the outside of that 2 car, and I think that one thing that he needs to do early in this race is earn the trust. He's new to that 21 car, and I think he needs to earn the trust of the 2 and the 12 and the 22, because as we get to the end of this race, you're going to have some help, and throughout this race, and those Penske guys have done a good job working together.
The word I heard most in describing Austin Cindric's approach to these drafting-style races is discipline. He doesn't go out and make a pass just to make a pass. He has the discipline to hold his line when he needs to and not prevent the group that he's in from getting broken up, and that's a talent.
Well, it is a talent here. As you see 3 wide down the front straightaway, Kyle Larson on the top. These are races where you have to make good decisions. You have to be really aggressive. You want to race for stage points. We saw last week, we saw Denny Hamlin leading that race late. He got 0 stage points last week. And, I think as you get towards the middle part of this run, you might see some handling take effect. But what you're really going to see is these cars accordion in and out of the corners. And what I mean by that is one car will catch the other car, and as you go back in that line, that accordion will start to take effect, and you'll see guys dive to the bottom of the racetrack to start passing 3 or 4 cars at a time.
Yeah, if you can dip out, not be in line so tight to the car in front of you that you can make a move, to your point, when they accordion, you can pounce on, shoot to that bottom. But these guys, they've got the handling and the feel underneath their cars. It's obvious, and they're going for it.
Well, Wallace started 14th. He is up 6 positions, up into the top 10 in 8th spot.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of guys that are going to be more aggressive at the beginning of this race than others. And you see Denny Hamlin right there in the 11 car behind that 3 wide. He didn't qualify well. They really went towards the handling. But when you're behind those cars 2 wide even, the front of these race cars are not going to turn very well. They're going to slide the front tires. We'll call that a push. And you have to time that lift on the entry to the corner. Yes, I said lift. You have to lift here a lot of times with all the momentum on the entry to the corner to be able to get that left front fender out and let the front of your car turn.
Larry Mack?
Yeah, Chris Lambert, Denny Hamlin's spotter. Denny really didn't go anywhere when this race started, Mike. But Chris Lambert told him, said Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, 2311, they are making the 3rd groove work, and that's what Denny started doing a few laps ago.
Tyler Reddick is plus 8 positions since the start of this race, up to 10th, and that number 45 right of your screen, right behind his teammate, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, and I don't know if I 100% agree with, I think Denny Hamlin's strategy in the fall got him in trouble, got him wrecked at the end of that race, trying to ride around at the back and wait for things to happen. I just feel like, especially if this pack gets spread out and the handling doesn't come into effect like they think it will, you're going to have to figure out how to make some ground through the pack. And you give up 2 races in a row with no stage points. It'll be interesting to see how all that pans out.
So the top 12 cars are single file. Why does that happen here, not at Daytona last week?
Well, the speed's about 12, 13 miles an hour slower than what we were last week overall for the pack. When the pack gets together at Daytona, it really allows those cars to stay together because it's a little bit easier to figure out the handling and the way to drive that racetrack. When you're here and we're going into turn 3 right now, there's a lot of bumps. The entry's kind of flat. You got to kind of skateboard ramp up the corner. So you're actually lifting a little bit because the handling is not great.
I want to try answering in a different way. Well, I think 8 or 9 of them are 4s. I think they're just following suit and doing what we need to do to take care of business right now. Leading the charge.
Good point. Single file back to 14th, which is Carson Hocevar. He's the biggest gainer. He's up 12 spots since the start of this race. Austin Cindric out front in Atlanta.
I gotta get Marcus some new cleats.
I bet you could buy the whole team new cleats with all that money you saved.
Nancy Dawson is passive progressive.
You know, Nancy, that's actually really...
Nancy doesn't have progressive, so she takes it out on those who do.
She could look up private coaching with that. Maybe he'll score a goal. I figured you'd want the whole roll since you saved hundreds with progressive.
How many tickets? 2, please.
Don't be passive progressive.
2 for Becky?
Drivers who switch could save hundreds.
Welcome back to Papa John's. I'm hand stuffing this mozzarella to make our epic stuffed crust pizza.
Epic.
Hey, we're making you an epic stuffed crust pizza for $13.99.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
New Downy Comfy Cozy combines softness and scent to unlock an elevated cozy we call Cozy. A higher state of comfort, unlocked by blending comfy softness and cozy scent. Transform your everyday to Cozy. New Downy Comfy Cozy not only combines softness and scent, it breathes life into your laundry.
Come on. What are you doing? Trying to watch the game, but my screen's busted.
You should go to T-Mobile. You can trade in a broken phone, and they'll give you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro on them. Where did you get guns?
I was under my seat. When's this thing over?
At T-Mobile, new and existing customers get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us when you trade in your busted old phone. Plus, families can switch and save 20% versus the other big guys' best plans, plus streaming.
It's over.
To tell you the truth, we could take or leave the extravagance, the attention, the celebrity, the bragging rights, the bravado. Because all we've ever really wanted is for every Ford driver to feel this.
The Better Health 400 on Fox is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Single file, no more. 17 laps complete. Here's the battle for the lead. Joey Logano leading the group on the bottom against Austin Cindric.
Yeah, and we see guys right against the bottom line, and as they get more aggressive, we saw this in the truck race yesterday, they'll start to form up a little better on the top. As you see Josh Berry get into the back of the truck car down the back straightaway, and that is very beneficial here. Just any sort of bump that you can give them down the back straightaway to get that car shoved out there a little bit, but you see the momentum that it carries through 3 and 4.
Tell you who I'm impressed with. All right, who's moving? Look at William Byron. You can see him. We haven't talked about the Chevrolets pre-race much. There he is. Last week's winner, Daytona 500, running 6th, moving forward.
And you see him down, like in the middle of the racetrack to get that the air on the front of the car so that you don't get that big slide. These cars will get a huge slide, an aero push, we will call it. But you see him offset to the 34 car in front of him, just a half a lane to be able to put some air on the front of that car.
The pack has been running laps a full second faster than yesterday's pole speed. One car on the track by itself.
And that just tells you the power of the pack. And when you get all these cars together, you know, we've seen Larry put up his animation of how much faster these cars go when we get them in the line. And that's what this is all about. And Austin Cindric hasn't lifted yet. All the guys in the back of him have lifted a lot because of the runs and the draft that they get into the corners. And you have to time those runs and really be able to put yourself in a position to capitalize on people that are lifting and go dive down to the bottom of the racetrack. We've seen Bubba Wallace on the top of the racetrack, and now we see Todd Gilliland dive down to the bottom to try to take the lead.
I love the move that he made. He backed up, got a run off of Ford, went by Josh Berry and made a move to the lead on the inside of Cindric here.
Yeah, no surprise. He led the most laps of any driver in this race 1 year ago, which kind of put him on everybody's radar. I think that was a defining moment in his career here last year.
Yeah, the thing you got to be careful with is, especially if that bottom lane gets spread back out, and if you don't clear that front car, his ultimate move would have been to dive off into the corner and clear the 2-car of Austin Cindric.
All right, with Fords in the top 5 spots, good time to look at track facts, sponsored by Ford Performance. In the reconfigured Atlanta, the last 6 races, Ford has won the last 8 stages. They've won 2 out of the 6 and led the most laps of any manufacturer, 800.
Well, you're talking about them Fords and who's strong. Where are they coming from? Now we see Byron and these guys. Bubba Wallace, Keselowski's moving up. Gregson, Custer, Buescher's the one I was looking at. Buescher's fell back, handling woes. Jamie.
Yeah, and you mentioned Brad Keselowski. He's the winningest driver on this style of racetrack. And I talked to him this morning in his hauler with his crew chief and just asked about their overall strategy. And his crew chief told Brad, hey, this first stage is 60 laps. We can get there no problem. So just race. Don't think about saving that and just focus on racing for at least this first stage.
Gilliland and Cindric.